You wake up late. The alarm blares like a warning siren, and you lunge for the snooze button. In that instant, the split second you decide to stay in bed or throw off the covers, something extraordinary may have already happened. Something eerie. According to certain scientific theories, your brain made that decision before you consciously thought about it. But wait, if your choice was already determined by unconscious processes, were you ever really free to choose at all? This is not just a trick of perception. It is a riddle that has baffled philosophers, neuroscientists, and quantum theorists alike. The idea that free will may be an illusion is not some abstract thought experiment. It is a direct challenge to the way you live your life. Every choice, every moment, could be part of an intricate domino effect that began long before you were born. To understand this, consider a groundbreaking discovery. When scientists scan the brain as a person makes a decision, they find something unsettling. Electrical signals in the brain fire seconds before a person becomes aware of their choice. Imagine watching a movie where the final scene starts playing before you even hit the play button. That's what it's like. Your brain appears to be running the show behind the scenes. But is it? Before you feel the chill creep up your spine, there is another twist to this mystery. At the tiniest level of reality, where particles dance and flicker in and out of existence, there is chaos. Unlike the clockwork precision of classical physics, the quantum world is unpredictable. Particles appear to make decisions, choosing where to be or how to behave without any clear cause. Some believe this randomness could inject true freedom into our universe. If the very fabric of reality is unpredictable, perhaps we are not bound by destiny. Maybe our choices are not scripted after all. Yet this raises a tantalizing paradox. Randomness is not freedom. If your decisions are dictated by random quantum events, are you any more in control than if they were predetermined? Here's where the plot thickens. Whether it's a cascade of cause and effect or a roll of quantum dice, neither scenario gives you true agency. The unsettling truth may be that what we call free will is a brilliant illusion, a story our brain tells to make sense of our actions after the fact. Like a dream where you are convinced you are in charge only to wake up and realize the script was written without you. Or is it? Even if free will is an illusion, that illusion is powerful. It feels real enough to shape the world, to build civilizations, to create art and love and meaning. Every choice, whether predetermined or not, ripples outward in ways you can never predict. The clock ticks, but who set it in motion? Picture this. You're standing in a crowded cafe watching the rhythm of life pulse around you. A barista hands over a steaming cup, a couple laughs in the corner, someone glances nervously at their phone. It all feels so alive, so full of choice. Yet, beneath the surface, there's an eerie sense of repetition, patterns, habits, tiny chains of cause and effect stretching endlessly backward. You check your watch, and something gnaws at the back of your mind. Did I choose to look just now, or was I always going to? In the quest to understand whether we have free will or if everything is predetermined, scientists and philosophers are beginning to peel back the curtain on reality itself, and the view is far stranger than anyone expected. Here's where the mystery deepens. Recent discoveries suggest that decisions might actually form before we're even aware of them. In experiments that track brain activity, subtle signals flicker in the mind seconds before a person consciously chooses to act. It's as if the decision is already made, playing out on a mental screen you're watching just a little too late. Like reaching for a door handle in a dream, you're doing it, but you're not quite sure why. And yet, there's something even stranger lurking beneath this surface. If every thought is the result of something that came before, a cascade of neurons firing because of past experiences, environment, biology, how far back does it go? Could your choice to read this right now be part of a chain set in motion before you were even born? What if reality itself is more like a script unfolding frame by frame where the ending is already written? But here's the twist. Quantum physics throws a wrench into the machinery. At the smallest level of reality, particles behave unpredictably, flickering in and out of existence, choosing paths in ways no one fully understands. It's chaos. It's randomness. Or maybe it's something more. Imagine flipping a coin, but instead of landing heads or tails, it shimmers in midair, splitting into every possible outcome at once. Some theories suggest that's how the universe works. In one version, you turn left at the next intersection. In another, you go right. In countless others, you never even leave the house. All possibilities coexist until you look. Then reality seems to settle into one version, the one you're living. The key idea here is that if reality is built on both cause and effect and randomness, then free will might not be about controlling what happens. It might be about where you look. Think it like this. You're standing in front of a vast river. The current is strong, impossible to resist. You can't stop the water from flowing, but you can choose which stones you step on. In this view, fate isn't a straight line. It's a branching web. Every decision is a ripple in a sea of endless potential. You don't control the ocean, but you might just control which wave you ride. And yet this new insight leads to another haunting question. If you can choose which reality to observe, who or what is doing the choosing? Is it really you, or just another ripple in the current? And yet, if you are the one choosing which wave to ride, who is holding the map? Picture yourself driving down a long, empty road at night. The headlights carve a narrow path through the darkness. You feel in control, hands on the wheel, foot on the gas, but there's a strange hum beneath it all. The road stretches out too perfectly, as if it was always going to be this way. You glance in the rearview mirror and see something unsettling, your own taillights flickering in the distance. You've been here before, or maybe you never left. This is the haunting paradox at the heart of free will versus predetermination. The more we understand the nature of reality, the more it starts to feel like we're running in circles, or perhaps spirals, looping forward in time, but always returning to the same impossible questions. And now there's an even deeper layer to the mystery. Some scientists are beginning to suspect that time itself may not flow the way we think it does. What if the future isn't something that happens after the present, but something that already exists, waiting to be discovered? In certain interpretations of physics, the past, present, and future are all laid out like frames in a film reel. You don't watch time unfold, you simply move through it, frame by frame. But if that's true, it means your choices might not be writing the script. They might just be the way you experience it. Here's where it gets even stranger. There's a growing theory that your mind doesn't just move forward through time. It may be sampling moments from the future before they happen. Small, unconscious glimpses. In experiments where people are asked to make spontaneous decisions, tiny physiological signals, faster heartbeats, skin responses, appear just moments before the event as if their bodies know what's coming. Almost like their future selves are whispering back through time. Think about it like walking through a dense fog. You can't see more than a few steps ahead, but every now and then a shape emerges, a shadow of something you're about to encounter. The key idea here is that if the future is already out there, your awareness might be dipping into it, pulling pieces of what's ahead into the present. It sounds impossible, but consider how memory works. We think of memories as something we carry from the past. But what if it goes both ways? What if intuition, déjà vu, or that gut feeling you can't explain are just echoes of future memories rippling backward through time? And here's where it gets even more unsettling. If your choices are influenced by signals from the future, if your body and mind are responding to what's about to happen, then are you really the one making the decision? Or is your entire life unfolding like a story you've already read, only you're reading it for the first time? And if that's the case, what happens when you reach the last page? And if you are reading a story that's already written, who's holding the pen? Imagine waking up in the middle of a dream. Everything feels vivid, the warmth of the sunlight, the weight of your body against the ground, but there's something off. You walk through familiar streets, recognize familiar faces, but you can't shake the feeling that none of this is yours. It's as if you're watching yourself from somewhere outside your own body, a passenger in your own life. This eerie sensation isn't just a passing thought. It might be a clue to how reality really works. As we push deeper into the question of free will versus predetermination, some theories suggest that consciousness itself might be an illusion, not in the sense that it doesn't exist, but that it might not be what we think it is. Here's where it gets strange. Some neuroscientists believe your sense of self, the voice in your head that feels like you, might actually be the brain's final trick. A narrator invented after the fact, stitching together events that have already happened. Decisions are made deep in the subconscious, milliseconds before you become aware of them. By the time you think you've chosen to pick up your phone, your body is already in motion. You're just telling yourself the story afterward, filling in the gaps. Think of it like watching a highlight reel of a game you already played. The outcome is set. You're just adding commentary, convinced that your words are affecting what's happening on the screen. But how deep does this illusion go? New theories in physics suggest reality itself might work like a simulation, not in the science fiction sense, but as a kind of mathematical construct. The rules of the universe, from gravity to quantum mechanics, behave suspiciously like code. Patterns repeat, constants hold steady, and everything unfolds according to a precise set of laws. If reality is running on rules like a complex program, can you really break them? Here's the key idea. If consciousness is the byproduct of a system running on predetermined laws, then free will might be less about making choices and more about how you experience them. Imagine you're on a roller coaster. The tracks are locked in place. Every twist and turn has already been built, every drop carefully measured. But as you sit in the car, hands gripping the safety bar, heart pounding, the experience still feels real. You scream at the top of the hill, not because you can change where the track goes, but because the emotion itself is authentic. What if life is like that? What if the point isn't to steer, but to feel? And yet, even in this roller coaster of reality, another question remains. Who built the track? Some theories hint at a hidden layer, a field of consciousness underlying reality itself. Not a person, not a being, but a kind of awareness woven into the fabric of existence. If that's true, then maybe the line between free will and predetermination isn't about control. Maybe it's about participation. You're not just watching the movie, you are the movie. But if the story is already written, if every breath, every blink, every heartbeat is unfolding according to a plan, then what does it mean to be aware of it at all? And more importantly, who is watching you watch it? And if someone or something is watching you watch the story unfold, could they be you? Picture yourself standing in front of a mirror. You raise your hand. The reflection does the same. It feels obvious, cause and effect, until you notice something strange. The reflection is watching you just as closely. For a brief, disorienting moment, it's impossible to tell who moved first, who's the original and who's the copy. This is where the mystery reaches its climax. We've explored the unsettling idea that time might be laid out like a film reel, where the future already exists. We've uncovered the possibility that consciousness is a trick, a delayed reaction stitched together by the brain. We've even glimpsed a reality where randomness and choice blur together, where your gut feeling could be an echo from the future. But what if the final truth is even stranger? Some of the most cutting-edge theories suggest that reality itself may be self-aware, not in the way a person is aware, but in a deeper, more fundamental sense, like the way a wave is aware of the ocean. According to these ideas, consciousness isn't something that happens in the universe. It might be something that is the universe. In other words, you're not just a passenger on the ride, you are the ride. Here's where it all comes together. If consciousness is a fundamental property of reality, then the line between free will and fate might not exist at all. Think about it like this. You're dreaming. In the dream, you make choices. You turn left, you speak to someone, you run. It feels real. But when you wake up, you realize the entire dream came from your own mind. You weren't a character inside the dream. You were the dreamer. Every decision, every event was you, expressing yourself in different forms. What if reality is like that? What if the entire universe is consciousness dreaming itself into existence? A vast, living field where every person, every choice, every moment is simply another ripple in the same infinite ocean. In this view, free will isn't about fighting fate, because fate is you. Every choice you make is the universe experiencing itself from a new angle. You're not trapped in a story someone else wrote. You're the author, the character, and the reader all at once. The key idea is that you are not separate from reality. You are reality watching itself happen. And if that's true, then the question of free will versus predetermination dissolves. It was never about control. It was about awareness. The more conscious you become of the present moment, the more you realize you're not being pulled along by fate. You're flowing with it. But here's the final twist. If the universe is conscious, if reality is dreaming itself through you, then the mystery isn't about whether your choices matter. The real question is, what will you dream next?